Hello again, welcome to Hi-Hat, Devlog number 4. This time around I focused on matchmaking. As you can see here, the title screen now has a nice menu. If you select local, a local match will start. I also added this start menu. From here you can resume, select settings, or quit. In local games this will pause, but in multiplayer games, the game keeps running. We'll head back to the title for now. But sometimes your friends aren't in the same room as you. That's what this new online button is for. From here you can choose to either join or host a game. Let's click join. From here we have a server select window. You'll notice there are two tabs. The first one is online. These are global matches that anybody can join. And local, which are matches hosted on your local area network. The servers in the online list are populated by a global matchmaking service that I wrote. Right now it's pretty simple. Users can host games, tell the matchmaking service about them, and they'll show up in this shared list. In the future I'll probably add some authentication, and maybe also a quick join feature. The list contains live information about the current map and the number of players. Somebody's already hosted a server. Let's join this one for now. Now let's try hosting a game. Right now the hosting menu is pretty simple. You can just specify the server name and whether or not it's LAN only. I made a UDP discovery system that allows LAN users to discover each other without the global matchmaking service. I'm also using Godot's UPnP support to open up the necessary ports for public games. I also made my own setting system. You define your settings as C# classes, and then this settings menu is automatically generated using C# reflection. I also made sure all of the menus can be navigated via controllers. Changes are saved to these JSON files. To make debugging easier, I also made the settings patchable. You can create a separate debug settings file, which will be written on top of the base settings. I've also been working on my itch.io support. Itch is a small, indie-focused storefront. I'm planning on doing my initial testing there. I wrote a script that automatically publishes Hi-Hat builds to Itch. I also added some preliminary Itch integration with Hi-Hat. I'm using the Itch APIs to extract the current username, and I'm displaying it in the menus, and it's also used to identify players in multiplayer. I'm now rendering player names in the player portraits. For local games, this is just going to be player 1, player 2, player 3, etc. However, in online games, this will use the identity of whatever platform the current player is on. Right now it just supports Itch, but in the future I'll add other identities like Steam. In online games, when a player disconnects, I now display an error message, and the player portrait updates to indicate that somebody is missing. If the server disconnects, you're brought back to the title menu. So earlier, I made it so that when you drop a hat, you get a free jump. However, this created some problems. As you can see here, when you have a lot of hats, you can just keep jumping. And if you combine that with the hat bouncing that I added recently, you can basically fly indefinitely. This needed fixing, so I made it so that you jump a little less with each consecutive hat drop. This resets whenever you touch a platform. Hats now use nav meshes to navigate around platforms and obstacles. Getting chased by a bunch of hats is actually pretty terrifying. I migrated to Godot 3.2, which isn't quite out yet, but I made my own builds. Most importantly, this fixed some show-stopping bugs, which prevented me from releasing Hi-Hat publicly. However, this is also the first release that adds multi-sample anti-aliasing to the GLES2 renderer. FXAA is still an option, but in my mind MSAA is vastly superior. It also fixes some other things like broken macOS shadows. I also improved the performance of my client-side prediction code. It was actually pretty slow before because it was redoing a lot of physics calculations, and it created the unfortunate situation where the more you lag, the slower your game got, and on lower-end hardware, you could actually grind to a halt. So I'm glad I finally got that sorted. I also tried to increase the gameplay speed across the board. I made players a little faster, I made hat switches faster, attacks are faster. In the short term, I am done with features though. I'm gearing up for my first public release on itch. There are a few more minor bugs to fix, and then I'm going to press that publish button. I'm going to post updates here and on Twitter, so if you want to get notified, subscribe to this channel, and follow me on Twitter. Thanks again for your support. I'm excited to start playing this game with you all.